For more on the Fed and the economy, joining us now, we welcome Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Governor Youngkin, thank you, sir. We appreciate it very, very much. If my memory serves me, you were a top-flight banker at one point before you became governor, so you know something about the economy and the Fed. Do you think the Fed had to act today, 48 days before the election? They couldn't have waited until the day after the election?
Well, Larry, I first don't know about the timing of today's movement, but I know the significance of 50 basis points, and it's only been done 3 times in the last 25 years when we've had real challenges in COVID, the great financial crisis, and, of course, after 9/11. And I do think that what is implied by a 50 basis point rate cut is the fact that the Biden-Harris administration has done more damage to this economy than anyone fully understands. They unleashed inflation at an unprecedented level to the point where today 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And Americans and Virginians feel it every time they go into the grocery store and see 20 or 25% increases in food prices, and they see doubling of gas prices, and they see their heating bill and electricity bills go through the roof, and they can't buy a house. They know that it's been unprecedented inflation. And therefore, the Fed had to take action that slammed the brakes on the economy. And I believe the job market is a lot softer than anyone is letting on. And in fact, when you have 800,000 jobs corrected out of previous jobs announcements, that's 3 or 4 months of jobs growth. I think the move today represents the fact that the Harris-Biden administration has so damaged this economy that they had to take extraordinary action, only seen in states of real emergency, in order to try to get it fixed.
Well, I just wonder, Governor, what good will it do? You know, you mentioned a year and a half or so ago, the Fed had to slam the brakes on. You're right. That's because they missed in 2021 and most of 22 that the inflation was about government spending and they shouldn't have monetized it. But now, so you wipe the slate clean right now, what good is it if they slam the accelerator down? I mean, doesn't that risk higher inflation? I mean, you've got a lot of families, middle income families, lower income families. They would tell you inflation is still around. They're suffering from higher prices, as you suggested a few moments ago, as our panelists did a few moments ago. I mean, that's the point. I mean, it's sort of stop and go, hit the brakes, hit the accelerator. Well, which is it?
Yeah, well, that is the key point, which is that, once again, I believe because of the misguided and unprecedented spending that came out of the Biden-Harris administration, the Fed has literally been chasing to try to bring down unprecedented inflation. And they did it to such an extent that all of a sudden the shocking job numbers that were in the last jobs report suggested that this economy is not just easing off, but the jobs part of this economy has really hit a major bump, if not a ditch. And therefore, this aggressive movement, which, again, is unprecedented. I mean, literally, during normal times, you don't see 50 basis point moves, suggests to me that we've got bigger problems than people might have been letting on, and particularly Kamala Harris, who has been standing around this nation saying the economy is great and that she can't even answer the question whether Americans are better off today than they were 4 years ago, because she knows they're not. And that's the big message to me today is we got to wake up and recognize the economy under the Biden and Harris administration has literally dealt a gut punch to the American people. And it's time for us to recognize that what Donald Trump built back in his presidency was a strong economy that had high growth, low inflation, and we didn't have any of this massive shifting in Federal Reserve policy because we knew that we were going to have high growth and low inflation.
I just can't figure, Governor, I just can't figure why they couldn't have waited till the day after the election, which would have depoliticized the whole Fed story. Because even if the economy is a lot worse than we think, or than they think, more importantly, it's not going to matter. 48 days, not going to matter. They could have waited. What they're going to run into now is a political buzzsaw, if you ask me. Governor, how's it look in Virginia? There was talk earlier that Virginia would be a toss-up state. It's not going to go blue as it has recently. You have deep roots into it. You're a very popular governor. How's the Trump story in Virginia, sir?
Well, first of all, just to remind everybody that that Joe Biden won Virginia by 10 points back in 2020. And we were fortunate enough to win by a little less than 2 in my election. And I think what Virginians have recognized is that, one, the economy is the biggest issue. And second of all, that what the Biden-Harris administration has done is delivered an economy that has taken money out of their paychecks. It's made it harder to feed their kids. It's made it harder to buy shoes for school. And it's certainly made it impossible to buy a house. And so Virginia is competitive. Listen, it's a tough state, and so there's real work to be done, but it's competitive. And I will tell you, we're doing everything we can here in the next roughly 50 days in order to deliver a win. The bottom line is the economy is the top issue by far, no questions asked. And when we see the kinds of dramatic movement that were taken today by the Federal Reserve in order to right the broken ship that the Biden-Harris administration actually created, I think it only speaks further into the real damage that all Americans, and particularly Virginians, are feeling as a result of the economy that they have had imposed on them by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
All right. Governor Glenn Youngkin, thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to see you. We appreciate it very much. Good luck on the campaign trail.